In this tutorial, I'm going to show you the use of functions and why you should use them in your day-to-day programming. Even if you're making a short program, they help a lot to clarify what the code is doing. Whether you know it or not, you're actually already familiar with functions, as setup and the loop function are functions. So I'm not going to bother going over too much of what my specific program is doing. I'm just going to show you the function area, as that's what you're here for. So as you can see in the loop, I'm actually trying to format the time so that it looks like a human readable format. So instead of 1 p.m. we get 1:01 p.m., that sort of thing. And to do that, we have to make multiple if statements. If the hour is less than 10, we need to put a space for it in front of it. If it's not less than 10, then we just need it as it is. So 10, 11, 12 would not want a space in front of it. Same with minutes and seconds. And as you can see, we had to do if, else every single time. Now to simplify this, we could remove this whole section and then just do something like hour equals, let's call our function pad time. And we want to put a space in front of the hour. And then same thing with minute. We just want it to equal call pad time, which is a function that we'll be making in just a second here. And minutes get a 0 in front of them. And then seconds also get a 0 in front of them. We actually want this to be called second, not second, seeing as how that's our variable name up at the top here. Okay, so now after the loop, we actually need to make a new function, which we called it pad time. Now we want pad time to return a string to be stored into our string variables, hour, minute, and second. So we call it string. Pad time, and we want to store the two parameters. The first one is an integer and the second one is also a string. So we want to define an integer of digits, named digits, sorry, and a string named padchar for pad character. And then we just wanted to do those same exact if loops, except we only need to do it once. So we just do if digits is below 10. We want to return pad. And what this does, as soon as it says, okay, the digits are below 10, we want to exit this function and return this string. And then it would store it in our string before the equal symbol, our variable. And we need to make an else statement here. And otherwise, so if this isn't true, we need to return a string with just the digits, so we didn't want to pad it. And as you can see, that's a lot easier to read. If somebody else was to come along and read this, they can see exactly what's going on here. It's calling a function named pad time, which we made down here. And we can see what it is. The other nice thing about functions is if we actually wanted to take this whole section and make it another function called current time, and then we make another, well, this one will be a void function. And we'll call it current time, just like above there. We don't need any variables stored or anything. Then we can just paste our stuff in here. And what that does is if we had a more complex program and we actually wanted to just troubleshoot one area, we could just comment out this line and be able to run another part of our program. Say if we had part 2 function. That makes it so a lot easier to debug because you don't have to actually look at the entire program. You only need to look at the function that you're debugging, and it makes it a lot easier to read, even if it is you yourself looking at this in the future, but especially if somebody else was to come and look at it. Thank you for watching. I hope you realize why you should use functions in your code now. Just to go over that quickly again, they help you stay organized. They make your code more readable. They make it so you can debug a lot simpler, and they also actually take up less programming space, which is important because the Arduino has such a limited amount of memory. If you're making a longer program that was did a lot of repetitious tasks, the functions would make it so that the program took up less lines of code and you could fit more lines of code onto the Arduino. That ends this tutorial. For more tutorials, either visit my blog or you can view them in my YouTube channel. Until next time, happy programming.